I want to bring in Rick Shankman now. He is an investigative journalist. He's also the author of Just How Stupid Are We?, which says that America's democracy is a broken system, in part because you and I either don't know or don't care about what's going on. Richard, I want to show our viewers a couple of the revelations that we drew from your book. People are going to see this and maybe be amazed. I don't know. Only 2 out of 5 voters can name the 3 branches of the federal government. Let's put that up real quick if we can, Claude. Only 2 of 5 voters can name the 3 branches of the federal government. This is Americans, our brethren. Only 1 in 7, go to the next one, can find Iraq on a map. Only 1 in 5 know that we have 100 U.S. senators. That's amazing stuff. Given this, how are we expected to hold our government accountable for something as seemingly disturbing as the riling up of terrorists, catching them, and then letting them get away, as it seems has just happened in Kandahar?
Well, the problem, of course, is that if Americans aren't paying attention, they can't hold anybody accountable. They are fairly good at getting the big picture of success and failure. So the reason why President Bush's poll numbers are in the cellar now and have been for a couple of years is because after the Iraq mess, after Katrina, finally the American people caught on. But in the meantime, all kinds of bad, horrible things had to happen before they started paying attention. And that's why I wrote the book. I just couldn't bear it anymore, why Americans weren't paying enough attention to follow events and hold people accountable. Yeah,
but, you know, look, it's one thing to have some fun with this, and a lot of late-night comedians do that, and they go out and they ask people questions that they should know the answers to, and they don't. It's quite another to consider what happens to a democracy when people don't know, aren't informed. You say, what about that?
Well, let's use some statistics to try to bring this home, because the statistics are just appalling. On the eve of the invasion of Iraq, 60% of Americans were convinced that Saddam Hussein was behind 9/11. And 80% of those who were in favor of the war cited this bit of misinformation as one of the chief reasons why they favored an invasion. So how can you have a democracy when on an issue as important as 9/11 and Iraq, and 9/11, you know, probably the most important event in the last half century since the Kennedy assassination, and we can't get this basic fact right about it? How can you have a democracy that way? So are you saying that in a democracy, when the people aren't informed, and this is almost one of those questions that says that my kids would say duh about, if the people aren't informed, if the people aren't paying attention, then they're easy to hoodwink? Exactly. People are sitting ducks for wily and manipulative politicians if they don't know enough. Thomas Jefferson, 2 centuries ago, said that if you expect to have freedom and ignorance, you expect something that never was and never will be. And yet I've had a lot of resistance from people saying, oh, you know, the American people, they know enough, they get enough, they follow the news enough, well, but they actually don't.
Rick, let me put you on the spot. Has this administration, the Bush administration, done that or taken advantage of that more than other administrations?
This is not a Republican problem. This is not a Democratic Party problem. This is an American problem. I can go back to Lyndon Johnson, a Democrat in the Vietnam War. He was pulling some of the same shenanigans as the Bush administration did now. When people have power and they see that they can wink, wink, get by with a drop tint here or some misinformation there, they do it. Just the other day, on the front page of the New York Times was a story about John McCain, and what was he? He's going around the country saying that Barack Obama is going to raise the taxes on Americans of all backgrounds. Then you turn to page 820 and you find out the truth is Obama's going to cut taxes by $80 billion for certain classes, for the lower income people, for middle class, and for seniors.
And Rick, your point's important. It happens on both sides. I gotta let you go because we're out of time, but I've enjoyed this conversation enough to say, can we get you back?
Absolutely. I'd love to come back and talk more.
We'll do it. Rick Shankman, thanks so much for being with us. Interesting. The book is Just How Stupid Are We? And it's not meant to be critical, he says. It's meant to open our eyes about something that's important. Numbers are important, by the way.